The film begins in a world already destroyed. 14 years ago, a deadly fungal outbreak swept across the Earth and wiped out nearly all animal life, around 98% to be exact. The collapse of the food chain pushed humanity into starvation, sparking wars as people fought desperately to survive. Out of everything left, only one thing truly mattered: farmland. It became the last source of life that could keep mankind alive. Soon after, we see a group of armed men moving cautiously across a wide field, heading toward an isolated house. One man calls out to the residents, praising their crops and land as if he just wants to pay a friendly visit. But in secret, several others attempt to sneak in through different entrances. Their plan fails quickly when one of them is killed on the spot.
We were on our way east, so I was thinking...
The man outside insists they only need a place to rest, but suddenly, a sharp whistle rings out from a distance. In an instant, the armed intruders are taken down one by one, both in the field and inside the house. This is when we're introduced to Haley, a tough woman who moves swiftly through the crops, taking out enemies with deadly precision. She immediately contacts her daughter Rain over the radio. From a window, Rain returns fire at the attackers. Meanwhile, Haley's son Manny captures one man trying to flee.
Clean it up.
Without mercy, he stabs him to death. When the fight is over, the family gathers to check the bodies scattered around. Here, we meet the rest of them, Haley's husband Galen, and their other daughter Danis. They wonder how these intruders manage to breach their defenses and agree to reinforce their home so no one else can get in. That night, the Freeman family sits down together for dinner. The children practice a special whistling signal, a secret code to warn each other of danger. Their conversations also touch on daily routines like tending the crops and guarding the fields. During the meal, Haley assigns Manny a crucial mission: deliver supplies to her close friend Augusta, who lives miles away. She reminds him to be cautious, avoid strangers, and never trust anyone outside their circle. Over the next few days, we get a glimpse of the Freeman family's routine. The kids train in hand-to-hand combat, run through the fields, sharpen their shooting skills, and maintain the electric fence surrounding the farm. They also hunt small animals in the woods for extra food, while CCTV cameras keep watch over the perimeter. Haley often listens to the radio, hoping to hear news from other survivors. One night, Haley speaks to Augusta over the radio. Augusta warns her about a ruthless group of raiders who have already attacked 3 farming families. She begs Haley to come and train them, saying her skills could make all the difference. But Haley refuses. Leaving the farm is far too risky, and she won't endanger her family.
Very human or black, extraterrestrial or elusive. I knew a girl by the name of Ross moving to the sound coming out of the sleep. I said, what's up, girl? You still check the vibe on the radio?
The next morning, Manny drives to a crumbling old building. There, he finds a box labeled Augusta and quickly fills it with supplies before heading back.
We'll do anything.
We gave you what we could.
Meanwhile, Haley receives a shocking call from Augusta. With panic in her voice, she explains that the Flemings family has been wiped out, children included. Haley is shaken, but Augusta adds something even worse: they weren't just killed. They were eaten by a large, organized group of cannibals. Elsewhere, Manny is swimming in a river on his way back. As he climbs out, he spots a beautiful girl swimming nearby. Instantly, he's captivated. From a distance, he spies on her through his rifle scope, watching as she walks toward a hidden settlement deep in the woods. Back at home, Manny can't stop thinking about her. The next day, he returns to the river, but she's gone. Left with nothing else, he sketches her face in his notebook, desperate to keep the memory alive. Days later, Manny joins Galen and Danis on a supply run to an old depot. The The trip quickly turns grim when Dana spots several bodies hanging from the ceiling. Soon after, they encounter a group of men in uniform claiming to be soldiers. The soldiers say they've been staying with a local family to help protect farmers in the area. Suspicious, Galen asks if they were living with the Flemings. The soldier nods. Galen then reveals the truth to his kids: the Flemings are already dead.
Be part of the network.
Before leaving, Manny suggests checking the corpses for anything useful, and Galen reluctantly agrees. As Dana searches a bag on one of the bodies, an old woman who had been pretending to be dead suddenly rises and shoots her in the stomach before fleeing. Some time later, Galen rushes back to the farm carrying Danis, who is gravely wounded. Haley performs an emergency procedure and manages to stabilize her. Manny, overwhelmed with guilt for suggesting they check the corpses, blames himself. But Rain reassures him, saying that thanks to him, Danis is still alive. Haley tries to reach Augusta on the radio to report what happened, but for reasons unknown, Augusta doesn't respond this time. That night, Manny heard a suspicious noise coming from the forest. Curiosity got the better of him, and he ran to investigate, barely making out the silhouette of a girl in the darkness. Manny instinctively shouted for her to stop moving, only to be shocked when he realized it was the same girl he had seen at the river, now terrified and desperately asking for help. The next morning, tension ran high in the Freeman household. Galen and Haley instructed their children to stay armed at all times, even while sleeping. They warned them about strangers pretending to be soldiers, who were likely just cannibals targeting more than food or farmland. Haley made it clear, if they encountered strangers, they were to shoot first and ask questions later. Soon after, Manny quietly slipped into the barn. Inside, the mysterious girl was already tied up. Manny tried to calm her, assuring her he meant no harm. He untied the cloth from her mouth, gave her water, and carefully tended to her wounds. Though the girl accused him of kidnapping, Manny explained that he was only acting on his mother's orders, as she didn't trust outsiders. That night, Manny returned to the barn, seeking answers. He demanded to know who she really was and why she was there. The girl begged to use the radio, but Manny refused, unwilling to take the risk. Eventually, she broke down, admitting that she only wanted to know if her people were still alive. Moved by her plight, Manny released her. Slowly, the girl revealed her true goal: she needed the radio to locate the Freeman family farm. Manny was stunned, and when he asked why, she explained that her aunt had told her only the Freemans could help. From that point, a bond began to form between them. Manny shared his love for swimming, and the girl shyly admitted that she had noticed him watching her at the river, leaving Manny embarrassed but closer to her emotionally.
Sis!
The next morning, Haley noticed Manny was missing. She went searching and found the girl dancing freely in the barn to Manny's music player, while Manny watched with fascination.
Calm down, yo, this your boy, yo, you sweet life, down. Tell me no, oh, lo.
The warm moment quickly turned tense when Haley appeared. Without hesitation, she dragged the girl away while Manny was locked inside the barn, frantically trying to break the door down. Outside, Haley trained her weapon on the girl, demanding the truth. The girl finally revealed her name was Dawn. She explained she was a nurse for a government program providing medical aid to farmers and that her group had been attacked. Haley didn't believe her immediately and even fired a warning shot. Terrified, Dawn confessed she had been sent by her aunt, Augusta, a name that left Haley momentarily speechless. Meanwhile, Manny escaped from the barn and ran to the control room, desperately trying to contact Augusta over the radio, but there was no response.
Hello? Ma, Augusta's on the radio.
What's going on? What are you?
Suddenly, Haley appeared, furious. Manny insisted Augusta might be in danger, but Haley reminded him that Augusta was a skilled Marine who could handle herself. She scolded Manny for falling for Dawn's deception, calling the girl a liar. A heated argument broke out, ending with Manny storming off in frustration.
She gonna play you.
It's your miserable life, not mine.
Talking to.
In the next scene, Manny took Dawn and left in a vehicle to search for Augusta. Haley, realizing they were gone, quickly pursued them. Manny and Dawn arrived at a campsite, only to find it abandoned, with no signs of life. Elsewhere, Galen discovered one of their surveillance cameras had gone offline. He went to investigate while Dawn led Manny to an empty trailer. There, Dawn nervously admitted that she had deliberately lured Manny there. She explained that cannibals had kidnapped her aunt and several others and forced her to bring Manny. This was how they controlled the farmlands, by holding the owner's families hostage. As Dawn finished her confession, a mysterious figure approached Manny from behind. At the same time, Haley reached Augusta's home, which was eerily silent and stained with blood. She panicked, searching desperately for her friend, when suddenly something jumped out from the shadows. Back at the Freeman farm, Galen saw a deer in the distance, a sight thought impossible, since these animals were believed extinct. Before he could react, someone struck him unconscious. The deer was actually a mask worn by a cannibal. While Galen lay helpless, other cannibals sneaked into the house. Inside, Rain and Cookie noticed all the CCTV signals were down. Realizing they were under attack, Rain told her sibling to stay put, then positioned herself by the window with her rifle. Outside, the cannibals closed in. At the same time, Galen, despite being brutally attacked, fought back. With nails driven into his hands, he turned the tables, killing both of his attackers. Meanwhile, Haley regained consciousness in a dark basement. She was tied up, facing Augusta, who was badly injured. At the farm, Rain fired relentlessly at the intruders. She took down several, but the rest fought back violently, shattering the window.
Rain, come in!
Galen shouted to Rain, instructing her to retreat to the basement before it was too late. Back in the cannibal's basement, Haley tried to calm Augusta, mentioning the girl who came to the farm claiming to be her niece. Augusta confirmed that the cannibals forced her to send Dawn, and initially feared Haley would shoot the girl on sight. Haley promised to rescue them all, but Augusta warned that other children were still hidden. At that moment, the cannibal leader appeared, mocking Haley. According to him, Haley was different from other farming families because she didn't truly care about other people's lives. Haley confronted him, expressing her disgust at those who ate humans. The leader countered, pointing out that Haley was no different. She had killed people herself and even involved her children. To him, there was no difference between them. Both did whatever it took to survive. At this point, one of the men brutally slices Augusta to prepare her for food, while Haley can do nothing but watch helplessly. The scene then returns to Manny and Dawn with 3 children, who are desperately eating food as if they haven't been fed in a long time. Dawn thanks Manny for the food, and apologizes for bringing him here, otherwise, these children would have died. Manny understands her situation and declares he'll go to rescue her aunt, after which they all can leave. The scene returns to Haley, who is unconscious, and a bald man approaches to prepare for the kill. However, she quickly overpowers him, violently strangles him, and kills him. Haley then grabs a nearby rifle just as the cannibal leader walks in.
Wait!
I mean it this time.
Back at the farm, Galen and the kids take shelter in the basement, but Dennis is still upstairs and hiding in a closet. Galen thus prepares to rescue her, and strictly warns his daughters to stay here. Elsewhere, Haley tries to leave the basement, and at the door, she reunites with Manny, who has come looking for Augusta. Manny is horrified to see Augusta's dead body, and he now finally understands that everything Haley's doing is to protect the family. Returning to the farm, Galen moves cautiously upstairs, just as Rain pulls a switch which shuts all the blinds and turns off the lights. And so, Galen takes advantage of the darkness. After they are all dead, he tells Rain to turn on the lights, and we see that he's also severely injured. On the other hand, Manny and Haley reunite with Dawn and the 3 kids. When Dawn learns that her aunt is dead, she is devastated and overwhelmed with grief. Back at the farm, Galen brings Dennis to the basement, but he soon collapses to the floor due to severe loss of blood. The panicked girls quickly rush to his help, and manage to stabilize him for now.
We got 2 left.
Rain then checks the CCTV and discovers 2 intruders are still outside and spilling gasoline everywhere to burn the place. Despite being injured, Galen is confident he can still take them down, and asks her to let them in. Outside, Haley and the kids cautiously approach the farm when suddenly, a hail of bullets bursts toward them. Haley urgently tells Manny to take the kids to the basement, and promises she'll handle things here. Elsewhere, Rain finally lets the 2 cannibals inside, and shows them her sister, Danis, lying unconscious, and reveals that she was shot. One cannibal holds a blade to Danny's throat, while another one proceeds to scan the area. Outside, Haley is shot, but despite the pain, she manages to take down several cannibals. She soon runs out of bullets, which leaves her with no choice but to run away. Back in the basement, one of the cannibals opens a hidden door that leads her to a room full of ammunition. She also finds a cabinet filled with spices and herbs that excites her since it's nearly impossible to find this stuff. Just then, Galen quickly rises and shoots her dead, while Danis stabs other cannibal in the back, after which Rain shoots him to death. Shortly after, Manny and the kids arrive at the basement, where Rain is annoyed to see Dawn back, along with additional kids. But Dawn ignores her and quickly rushes to help Galen, who is critically injured. Meanwhile, Manny decides to head out again since his mother is still in danger and needs to be saved. Outside, we see Haley limping toward the barn, but she's quickly cornered by the last 3 surviving cannibals. But as he's about to finish her, Manny appears and shoots the cannibal to death. He then frantically rushes to help Haley, but her condition is critical because of multiple severe injuries. Manny begs her to stay awake, but the poor mother soon closes her eyes, leaving the distraught boy crying and screaming. The scene then cuts to a few days later, when life has gradually returned to normal, and the children are seen working together to set the table for lunch. But moments later, something unexpected happens when we see Haley slowly limp downstairs, revealing she has survived her injuries. As the movie ends, the family gathers around, enjoying their meal, while Haley watches them with affection and pride shining in her eyes. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy, hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice just to be sure. You should watch the full movie. Thank you very much for watching.